All right, so ready to dig in, pun intended, of course. Today's deep dive, we're going underground, literally, with mine production managers. You sent over some sources on this career path, and wow, so much more to it than I thought.
Right. It's really fascinating stuff. People hear mining, they think, it's digging holes, but it is so much more dynamic and complex.
Yeah, no, that's what's got me interested. So before we jump into how to actually land one of these jobs, like paint a picture for me. What's a typical day like for a mine production manager? What are they actually doing?
Okay, so imagine this, right? You're conducting an orchestra, but instead of instruments, you're coordinating people, heavy machinery, these complex extraction processes.
Yeah.
Um, your main job is making sure everything runs smoothly, safely, and you hit those production targets.
Okay, that's way cooler than what I had in my head. I'm guessing it comes with a pretty serious paycheck, though. Right? That's got to be stressful work.
Oh, absolutely. Not for the faint of heart. But the role catcher guide we have here mentions the median salary is around $150,000. And it can go way higher depending on experience and the size of the mining operation. Plus, you're working in a field that's, well, vital to pretty much everything. I mean, the minerals, the metals, or smartphones, cars. It all starts with mining, right?
Wow, yeah, never really connected those dots before. We're talking global impact here, but let's talk about those stressful situations. What kind of challenges would someone in this role, what would they actually face?
Well, think about it. You're working in a potentially hazardous environment, massive equipment, lots of moving parts. So safety is absolutely paramount. Got to make quick decisions under pressure, all while keeping your team safe.
Makes sense. Strong leadership skills are non-negotiable then, I'm guessing.
100%. You're not just managing resources, you're managing people. Building trust, motivating your team, creating that culture of safety. That's all part of it. And it's not just about dealing with what's happening right now. You've got to think ahead, plan for the future, adapt to changes in tech, regulations, global demand, all of that.
So you need to be a master planner, a problem solver, a people person, and maybe a little bit of a fortune teller too.
You got it. It's challenging, no doubt, but for those who are drawn to this kind of fast-paced, high-stakes environment, it can be incredibly rewarding.
Okay, I'm officially intrigued. Let's say someone is listening thinking, sign me up. Where do they even begin to pursue this?
Well, that's where a solid education comes in. And while you might immediately think mining engineering, and yeah, that's a great path, it's not the only one.
Really? That's surprising. Tell me more about that. So you're saying my business degree isn't a complete waste in the mining world?
Not at all.
Yeah.
Look, you're managing budgets, right? You're negotiating contracts,
Yep.
making those big strategic decisions, those business skills, they're gold. And hey, even those coming from an environmental science background, sustainability is huge in mining these days.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. You got to know how to, mine responsibly, not just efficiently.
Exactly. You need people who get those environmental regulations, who can minimize the impact on the ecosystems around the mine, and ensure everything's sustainable. So yeah, different backgrounds, they can be a real asset in this field.
Okay, so you've got your degree. You're all fired up about a career in mining. What's next?
Okay, let's talk must-have skills.
Yeah.
Imagine this. You're a mine production manager, and boom, major piece of equipment fails. What's your move?
Panic. Okay, probably not the best move.
Definitely not. This is where those problem-solving skills come in, right? Think of your feet, assess the situation, come up with a solution, and quickly. And if you're a certified mine safety professional, a CMSP, you'll have that expertise to make sure safety stays top priority the whole time.
That CMSP certification sounds pretty crucial. Anything else that can give you an edge? This is a competitive field, right?
Absolutely. A mine supervisor certification. That shows you can handle the leadership part. Essential when you're managing a team under pressure. And for those aiming for the top, that professional engineer license, the PE, that can open doors to those senior management roles.
So it's like leveling up in a video game. You're collecting certifications to unlock new possibilities.
I like that analogy. But beyond the certs, think about the soft skills too. Communication, that's a big one. You're always talking to people from the mine workers all the way up to the executives. Right?
Yeah.
You've got to be clear, effective, respectful, build that trust, and get things done.
Right, because a mine isn't just about the rocks and minerals, it's about the people all working towards a goal. Speaking of working together, how does all of this, the education, the skills, how does that translate into an actual career path?
That's where it gets interesting. RoleCatcher's Guide, they do a great job laying out that typical trajectory from entry level all the way up to senior mine production manager.
Okay, so let's break that down. Someone just starting out, eager to get their hands dirty, what's that first step look like? So we've got this eager newbie. What's their starting point?
Probably starting as a mine production technician, RoleCatcher's Guide mentions that's a great way to get that hands-on experience, assisting with production schedules, learning about drilling and blasting, getting a feel for the whole extraction process.
It's like a crash course in how a mine actually works day to day.
Exactly. And they highlight this one profile, we'll call him Joe, started as a technician right out of college, mining engineering degree. He was eager to learn, not afraid of hard work, and that impressed his supervisors.
Yeah, that combination, the know-how and the right attitude that goes a long way anywhere.
Big time. So as Joe got more experience, he moved up to junior mine production coordinator. More responsibility there, coordinating those short-term production schedules, helping with drilling and blasting plans, overseeing extraction, all that.
Still learning, but now you're calling some of the shots on some pretty important stuff.
Right. And you're starting to develop those leadership skills, too. RoleCatcher mentioned how Joe had to deal with a delay. Some equipment malfunctioned. He had to think fast, communicate with different teams, find a solution that got things back on track quickly. That kind of experience, it's really where you see the leadership potential.
Trial by fire. Sounds like those problem-solving muscles get a workout. So, from coordinator, where does someone go next?
Usually it's mine production supervisor, that next step up. Now you're developing medium-term production plans, overseeing drilling and blasting, managing those extraction processes. Plus, you're mentoring junior staff, just like someone was mentoring Joe a few years back.
Wow, so you're responsible for the work, but now for guiding the next group of mining professionals coming up. Big responsibility.
It is, and it takes different skills, right? Patience, good communication, being able to really inspire your team. RoleCatcher, actually, they had this anecdote about a senior mine production manager, we'll call her Sarah. She started her career as a teacher.
Really? From the classroom to a mine, that's a jump.
I know, right? But think about it, the skills do overlap. Communication, planning, mentoring, it's all connected. And Sarah found that teaching background, it was super valuable when she moved into a leadership role in mining.
That's really interesting. Shows you those experiences, even if they seem totally unrelated, can be huge assets.
Exactly. And Sarah's a perfect example of how far you can go in this field. From mine production supervisor, you can climb all the way up to that senior mine production manager role.
Okay, so now we're at the top. What's it like being the head honcho?
Well, you're overseeing all mine production, developing long-term strategies, you're evaluating new technologies, managing those complex extractions, and working closely with the execs, of course, on those production targets and budgets.
So it really does bring in everything we've talked about. Leadership, problem solving, the technical stuff, the financial side, lot to handle. Which actually reminds me, that interview question, the one about managing production in a mining environment. Any tips on how to knock that one out of the park?
Preparation is key. Think about real examples that show what you can do. Maybe you brought in a new safety protocol that reduced accidents, or found a way to boost efficiency without sacrificing quality. Be specific. Put numbers to your accomplishments. Don't be afraid to, toot your own horn a little.
Right. It's showing them you're not just managing, you're making things happen.
Exactly. And those soft skills we talked about, don't forget those. How you communicate, how you build consensus, how you motivate people, that all matters.
And do your homework. Research the company, what they value. Show them you're not just looking for a job, you want to be part of the team.
Now you're talking.
Yeah.
And one last thing, let that passion for mining come through. It might not be glamorous, but it's vital. People can feel that enthusiasm.
So true. Okay, as we wrap up this deep dive on mine production managers, what's the one thing you want listeners to walk away with?
That it's not just about digging rocks. It's about solving problems, leading with integrity, making a real impact in an industry that's constantly evolving.
A career that's both challenging and rewarding, just like this deep dive.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining me. This has been fascinating.
Anytime. Glad to share what I know.
And to everyone listening, thanks for coming along on this journey underground. Catch you next time for another deep dive.